Hi students, we're just coming off our first exam week. As it is towards the end of the week of exam week, I haven't had all of the students take the exam yet, so I don't have a huge amount of feedback yet as far as this video update goes as far as the exam itself. I can say that in Wednesday's email, midweek email that I send to you all, I will give you a little bit further of a breakdown of exam averages and maybe patterns that I saw or things that I noticed in order to offer some feedback. I also wanted to make everybody aware of the fact that don't panic if you didn't do that well on this first exam. It's only one exam out of 3, and there are lots of other things in this class that can help your grade. So again, I wouldn't panic too much if you did poorly on this first exam. There are always different things we can look for next time. There's also options when it comes to the first exam grade itself. So I'll talk about it just here in a few minutes, but I'm briefly going to talk about an assignment that is in this week's module folder that can actually help you to earn some of those points back on your exam, especially again for those of you who may be a little bit concerned about this first grade. There will also be some extra credit opportunities coming up, so I hope to post the first one here within the next week or so. It is tied into what's called an eco challenge. So it'll challenge you over the course of several weeks to participate in some sustainable activities. And if you do and kind of note what you're doing and check into the challenge every day, I'll give you some extra credit. So I'll probably have that posted, I'm thinking sometime to the middle or end of this week 7. Speaking of week 7, let's talk about what we have going. We're moving on to talk about water. So we started our discussion of pollution problems, climate change, things that were sort of related to things going on in the air and the atmosphere. Now we're going to move down to what's called the hydrosphere, which is a fancy way of saying the water layer of the earth, basically. We're going to be talking about water availability, so just how available fresh, clean drinking water is, and some of what we're going to call our water scarcity problems. Places that have too much water causes flooding. Places that have not enough water causes drought. So we'll talk about some of those water scarcity problems, and then we're also going to talk about pollution problems themselves, right? So some of the specific things we're doing to our waterways that are creating these pollution problems. Your lab this week is a surface water lab. So for the surface, these are all your lecture materials this week. Your lab this week is a surface water lab. So what I'd really like you to do is to go somewhere nearby and find a body of water. And you're going to do like a visual assessment of it. So you're going to look for some very specific things. And again, my lab video here specifically goes through what you're going to be looking at. But you're going to be looking at sort of all kinds of things, evidence of trash in the water. Is there a lot of algae? How does the water look? How does it smell? Those types of things. So you're going to kind of do this visual inventory of a body of water near you in order to see sort of qualitatively what the quality of that water is. Do we think it's good? Do we think it's bad? Do we think it's fair or okay? In addition to that, you will be looking at some simulated water pollution data, and you will be doing some analysis on that as well. So that is lab for this week. Assignments are as usual. We're continuing to do our student-led discussions. Please, please, please remember that one post is not enough. I still have students week after week who are only getting half credit because you're only posting once to the discussion board. All discussion boards require 2 posts. You should be reading the article that is posted. Read it yourself. Then tell me what you think about it. Like, here's my reaction to the article. That's post number 1. And then post number 2 is reply to another student. Okay, and again, I am looking specifically at posts and reply lengths. If you're not getting full credit, it's because you're not posting enough, right? Your post is a little bit lacking. It's lacking in details, or it's lacking in clarity, or it's lacking in length, whatever it happens to be. So that's something you might want to think about. But again, here's those discussion leader instructions for our leaders. I send out an email on Tuesday of every week directly to the discussion leaders to let you all know that it's your week to lead discussion. So please keep an eye out for that email. I know that there's been It's not specifically addressed to you, so sometimes you might just cast it aside and not even look at it. But just please keep an eye out for those, because that's how I'm reminding you that it's your week to do discussion. All right. The link for the discussion sign up, if you for some reason can't remember or didn't remember signing up, we did that back in, I believe, week 2. So let's go back to the learning modules. And if you go to assignments, here's the discussion leader sign up again. You can always click this link one more time to figure out which week you were. But again, I will be in contact with everyone who's a discussion leader for that week. Other assignments include the check-in as per usual. And then here's this little piece I was talking about when it comes to maybe earning some points back on your exam. So this is a self-analysis, and this is just a one-page document that's going to have you think about the different ways you studied, the different materials that you used to study, and the types of questions that you missed. And it really is just kind of a reflection. It's an analysis. I want you to think about your performance on the exam, think about what you missed, think about how you studied, and maybe try to come up with some ways that you could maybe make changes for exam number 2, things that you might like to improve on. Depending on how you did on the exam depends on how many points I'll give you back for completing this. Those students who did really well on the exam, you're not going to get as many points back. But the students who struggled more, I really want you to really take a look at your performance on exam 1 and really think about what you can change for next time. And I'll give you more points back for those students who, again, didn't do quite so well on the exam. This is due anytime between now and our next exam. And let's go and check the syllabus, because off the top of my head, I don't even know when our next exam is. Our next exam is November the 8th, the week of November 8th. So you have a whole month to do this particular assignment. So anytime between now and let's call it November the 7th, because that's the end of that week, you can turn this in to me, and I will give you, again, those points will go right back on your exam. So I will straight up change your exam grade to reflect your new grade based on this exam self-analysis that you've completed. Let's see, anything else? Oh, speaking of which, let's take a look at the syllabus and the schedule again and take a look. You still have a few more weeks until the next part of your Green Tech project is due. That's going to be your outline. It'll be due here in just a couple of weeks. So those brainstorms that you all submitted to me, again, if I thought all of your ideas were great, I said, these are all great ideas. Pick any one you want. These would be great. Some of you, for some of the ideas, I was a little less crazy about. And so I was like, maybe this isn't quite the right topic, but I like this one. So go back to that feedback. Pick the topic that most appeals to you or the one that you think you can create the best presentation from. And then start to gather some information about it. So you're going to need at least 3 different resources. And they can be online sources. I'm fine with that. But you need to have at least 3 different sources. You need a nice bulleted one-page outline is fine. It's the information that you're going to use in order to put together your presentation. That's what I'm looking for. But again, we've got time for that. That's not due for a few more weeks. So again, I think that does it for this particular set of announcements. Again, I'll have a little bit more feedback for you about specific exam performance midweek, so to give you time to see all the exam scores that have come in and to grade those essay exams. But if you all have any questions or anything I can do to help, please let me know, and have a great week, everybody.